When life throws challenges our way, when the weight of uncertainty bears down upon us, there is a simple yet profound truth hidden in plain sight. Let it be. These words, immortalized in music, align seamlessly with ancient Buddhist wisdom, carrying within them the power to transform suffering into peace. But what does it truly mean to let go? How can we embrace life's impermanence without fear, release our attachments, and find tranquility in the present moment? At the heart of Buddhism lies an undeniable truth. Suffering exists. No one escapes it, no matter how fortunate or privileged. Pain, loss, and disappointment are woven into the fabric of existence. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha sought to understand suffering, not just as an inevitable burden, but as a condition that could be transcended. His teachings were distilled into the Four Noble Truths, a roadmap to inner liberation. The first truth is simple yet profound. Suffering is a fundamental part of life, but Buddhism does not stop at acknowledgement. It goes deeper, asking why we suffer. The second truth offers an answer: attachment. We grasp at things, at people, at identities, believing they will bring lasting happiness. But everything is temporary. When we hold tightly to what is bound to change, suffering is inevitable. A relationship ends, a loved one passes away, a dream shatters before it can be realized. The pain does not come solely from the event itself, but from our resistance to it, from our refusal to accept what is. Buddhism does not advocate avoiding or suppressing pain. Instead, it urges us to observe it, to understand its roots, and ultimately to release our grip on it. This leads us to the third and fourth noble truths. There is a way to end suffering, and that way is the Eightfold Path. A path not of avoidance, but of transformation, guiding us toward a life of wisdom, ethical living, and mental clarity. But before we embark on any path, we must first see clearly where we stand. Imagine being trapped in a dark room. You can flail against the walls, curse the darkness, struggle against it, but nothing changes. Yet the moment you light a lamp, everything becomes clear. Acknowledging suffering is like switching on that light. It does not erase the pain, but it illuminates it, allowing us to take the first step toward freedom. And this is where the wisdom of letting it be comes into play. It is not about indifference. It is not about surrendering to despair. It is about embracing the truth of the present moment as it is, without clinging to how we wish it were. Instead of resisting pain, we acknowledge it. Instead of gripping tightly to what is slipping through our fingers, we allow it to flow naturally. There is a simple beauty in this realization. When we begin to see suffering as part of life's natural rhythm, we free ourselves from the constant battle against reality. And from this space of acceptance, we can start to explore something deeper: the nature of impermanence itself. Everything changes. This is perhaps the most undeniable truth of existence. The seasons shift. People enter and leave our lives. Emotions rise and fall like waves on an endless ocean. Yet despite this knowledge, we resist. We cling to what is familiar, hoping to freeze time and place, to hold on to moments as if they were solid and unchanging. And when they inevitably slip away, we suffer. Buddhism calls this anicca, impermanence. It is not merely a philosophical idea, it is the very essence of reality. The tree that stands tall today will one day fall. The joy we feel in one moment may dissolve into sorrow in the next. Our own bodies, which we take for granted, are in a constant state of change, aging, growing, evolving with each passing breath. But why does change disturb us so deeply? The answer lies in attachment. We crave certainty, stability, permanence. We build our lives upon the illusion that things will always remain as they are. We hold on to relationships as if they are unbreakable, cling to our youth as if it will never fade, invest in material possessions as if they will bring lasting fulfillment. And yet, when things inevitably shift, when a loved one moves on, when time leaves its mark upon us, when life takes an unexpected turn, we feel as though we have lost something essential. The Buddha likened life to a flowing river. We try to grasp the water, to hold on to it, but no matter how tightly we squeeze, it slips through our fingers. The more we resist the current, the more exhausted we become. But when we learn to move with the flow, rather than against it, we find peace. This is where the wisdom of letting it be aligns so beautifully with Buddhist philosophy. It does not tell us to force life into submission. It does not demand that we fight against the tide. It whispers a different message: trust the flow, accept what is. Instead of fearing change, we can embrace it. Instead of grieving over what is lost, we can appreciate what was and remain open to what is yet to come. Impermanence is not a curse. It is what makes life meaningful. A sunset is breathtaking precisely because it does not last forever. A song moves us because it has an ending. A deep conversation with a loved one carries weight because we know that time is fleeting. And so, rather than resisting life's changes, we can ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of wishing for joy to last forever, we can fully immerse ourselves in it, knowing that its temporary nature is what makes it precious. When facing loss, we can remind ourselves that nothing truly disappears. It simply transforms. The people we love live on in our memories, in the lessons they taught us, in the imprint they left on our souls. By embracing impermanence, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We stop clinging to what was, stop fearing what will be, and begin to experience what is. The present moment, with all its fleeting beauty, becomes enough. But embracing impermanence does not mean becoming indifferent. It does not mean withdrawing from life or severing our emotional connections. It means something far more profound. It means learning the art of non-attachment, a way of engaging with the world not from a place of fear and control, but from a place of openness and freedom. Non-attachment is often misunderstood. Many assume it means a life of cold detachment, an existence devoid of love or passion, a renunciation of all that brings joy. But this could not be further from the truth. Non-attachment does not mean rejecting life. It means embracing it fully without clinging. It is about loving deeply without possession, working hard without obsession, experiencing pleasure without the fear of its loss. It is about holding everything with open hands rather than clenched fists. Why do we cling? At its core, attachment is a form of control. We believe that if we hold on tightly enough to people, to achievements, to ideas, we can prevent pain, loss, or change. We fear that if we let go, we will be left empty, adrift in uncertainty. But clinging only creates suffering. Think about a time in your life when you held on to something long after it had served its purpose. A job that no longer fulfilled you. A relationship that had already ended in spirit, even if not in name. A self-image that no longer reflected who you were becoming. The more you clung to it, the more suffering it caused. This is where the wisdom of non-attachment offers a profound shift in perspective. Instead of seeing it as losing something, we can see it as gaining freedom. When we stop gripping so tightly, we allow life to flow naturally. We begin to see things as they are, rather than through the lens of fear or desire. Another source of attachment is the illusion of ownership. We believe that we own things, our possessions, our achievements, even other people. But in reality, nothing truly belongs to us, not even our own bodies. Everything is borrowed from the universe, temporarily passing through our hands. The house we live in, the clothes we wear, the objects we cherish, all will one day belong to someone else. Even the relationships we hold dear are not ours to possess. The people in our lives are here by their own choice, not because we have a claim over them. When we truly understand this, we begin to move through the world differently. We stop trying to control those we love and instead appreciate them. We stop obsessing over wealth and instead use it wisely. We stop fearing change and instead embrace it as an inevitable, natural part of existence. One of the most powerful applications of non-attachment is in love. Love, when mixed with attachment, can turn into possession or fear. We become afraid of losing someone, so we try to control them. We place expectations upon them, hoping they will never change, never leave, never disappoint us. But real love is not about possession. It is about freedom. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free." This means loving without demanding, without expecting something in return. It means allowing others to be themselves, rather than molding them into who we want them to be. It means cherishing every moment with someone without being consumed by the fear of losing them. Imagine holding a bird in your hands. If you squeeze too tightly, it will struggle and eventually fly away. But if you let it rest freely, it may choose to stay for a while. Love works the same way. The more we cling, the more we suffocate it. The more we let go, the more it can flourish. Applying non-attachment in daily life requires a shift in mindset. With material things, we can learn to enjoy what we have without letting it define us. We can use possessions without being possessed by them. With people, we can love fully without demanding permanence. We can cherish the time we have with someone, knowing that all relationships evolve. With success and failure, we can give our best effort without tying our self-worth to the outcome. Achievements and setbacks are temporary. They do not define who we are. And with our thoughts and emotions, we can learn to observe them rather than become entangled in them. We are not our thoughts. We are the awareness behind them. Thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky. They do not have to control us. This practice does not mean that we stop caring. It simply means that we stop suffering unnecessarily. It means shifting from a mindset of grasping to one of allowing. And this is where the wisdom of letting it be resonates so powerfully. The song does not say, force it to be. It does not say, make it be. It simply says, let it be. This is the heart of non-attachment. When life brings pain, instead of resisting it, we acknowledge it. When things change, instead of fighting against it, we adapt. When we love, instead of clinging, we appreciate. Non-attachment does not turn us into emotionless beings. In fact, it allows us to engage with life more deeply, to love more fully, to experience a peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is the art of being present, of allowing life to unfold naturally, without trying to force or control it. But practicing non-attachment requires something deeper, patience, the ability to trust the unfolding of life, even when things do not go as planned. The willingness to wait, without grasping for immediate answers. The understanding that everything comes in its own time, and that peace is not found in trying to rush the process, but in learning to move with the rhythm of existence itself. Patience is a virtue often overlooked in a world that thrives on speed. We crave instant results, immediate answers, and quick solutions to every problem. We want success without struggle, healing without time, and transformation without the slow unfolding that true change requires. But life does not operate on our timeline. No matter how much we try to control events, delays happen, challenges arise. Some things take longer than we expect, and the more we resist this natural rhythm, the more we suffer. Buddhism teaches that patience and acceptance are not just virtues, but essential ingredients for inner peace. The more we struggle against reality, the more suffering we create for ourselves. Instead of constantly trying to force life to bend to our expectations, we can learn to move with it, to trust its timing, to embrace it as it unfolds. Why do we struggle with patience? At the core of impatience is attachment to expectations. We carry a mental picture of how things should be, how quickly we should succeed, how fast people should change, how soon we should get what we want. And when reality does not match this vision, frustration sets in. Think about the last time you felt impatient. Perhaps you were stuck in traffic, waiting for an important response, or struggling to make progress in a personal goal. What was really causing your frustration? It wasn't the situation itself. It was your desire for it to be different. Impatience is a form of resistance. It is the mind rejecting the present moment, saying, "This is not good enough. I need the next one to be better." But when we live this way, we are constantly waiting for happiness instead of experiencing it. We convince ourselves that peace will come later, when we reach our goal, when we get what we want, when things finally go our way. But the truth is, if we cannot find peace in the present, we will not find it in the future. One of the greatest teachings of Buddhism is that suffering does not come from what happens. It comes from our resistance to what happens. When we resist reality, we create inner turmoil. But when we accept things as they are, we find peace. This does not mean that we stop striving for change or improvement. It simply means that instead of fighting against what is, we learn to work with it. Take, for example, the frustration of waiting in line. You have two choices. You can resist the situation, become agitated, check your phone repeatedly, complain in your mind. But does this make the line move faster? Number. It only makes you suffer more. Or you can accept the situation, use the time to breathe, observe your surroundings, simply be. The external situation hasn't changed, but your experience of it has. Now apply this to bigger challenges, a delayed goal, a difficult relationship, a personal struggle. The more we resist, the more we suffer. But when we accept, we open the door to peace and clarity. Perhaps the hardest place to practice patience is with ourselves. We all want to grow, to overcome our struggles, to evolve into the best version of ourselves. But deep change takes time. A person overcoming fear cannot force themselves to be brave overnight. A meditator cannot expect instant enlightenment the first time they sit in silence. A person healing from emotional wounds cannot rush the process. True transformation unfolds at its own pace, like a tree growing slowly from a seed. Rushing the process only creates frustration. Instead of demanding immediate results, we can learn to trust that everything happens in its own time. This trust is the foundation of patience. This is where the wisdom of letting it be reveals its power. The song does not say, "Hurry up and fix it." It does not demand immediate resolution. It simply says, "There will be an answer. Let it be." Sometimes the best thing we can do is stop fighting and allow life to unfold naturally. Not every problem needs an immediate solution. Not every challenge needs to be controlled. When we learn to let things be, we create space for clarity and wisdom to arise. How do we cultivate patience and acceptance in daily life? The first step is awareness. When frustration arises, pause and notice it. Take a slow, deep breath. Recognize that there is no rush. The world will continue moving, and life will continue unfolding whether we resist it or not. Next, shift your perspective. Instead of seeing delays as obstacles, see them as opportunities to practice peace. Instead of wishing away the present moment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me about trust, about letting go, about surrendering to life's natural flow? Observe instead of reacting. The next time you feel impatient, simply notice the sensation without acting on it. Often, awareness itself is enough to create a shift. Let go of rigid timelines. Set goals, but release the idea that they must happen exactly when you expect them to. Life unfolds in perfect timing. Just as a flower blooms when it is ready, your journey is unfolding at the right pace. By practicing patience, we align ourselves with the natural rhythm of life instead of resisting it. We stop rushing through the present moment and instead learn to live fully in it. And here, the wisdom of mindfulness becomes essential. Because if patience allows us to stop resisting life, mindfulness allows us to fully experience it. So much of our suffering comes from being lost in thought, rehashing the past, worrying about the future, distracting ourselves from the here and now. But true peace, clarity, and wisdom can only be found in one place: the present moment. The mind is constantly wandering. It pulls us into the past, replaying memories, regrets, and moments we wish we could change. It hurls us into the future, filling us with anxiety about things that have not yet happened. Even in moments of stillness, our thoughts race, planning, analyzing, worrying. But in all this mental noise, we miss something vital. We miss the present. We miss the only moment that truly exists. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness, the practice of being fully present, is the key to breaking free from unnecessary suffering. It is the antidote to distraction, the remedy for a restless mind. When we are mindful, we are not lost in thought. We are awake, aware, fully engaged with life as it unfolds. How often do we truly experience the moment we are in? We eat, but our minds are elsewhere, scrolling through worries or daydreams. We listen to a friend, but instead of hearing them, we are planning what to say next. We walk through nature, but instead of noticing the world around us, we are absorbed in thoughts of the past or future. This endless mental chatter keeps us disconnected from life. We are not truly living. We are merely thinking about living. And when our thoughts are filled with worries, regrets, or judgments, we suffer unnecessarily. Mindfulness offers another way. It invites us to slow down, to notice, to truly see, hear, feel, and experience what is happening right now. It is the practice of being completely present, not lost in the past, not consumed by the future, but fully here. Why is mindfulness so powerful? Because it transforms our experience of life in three profound ways. First, it breaks the cycle of automatic reactions. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, mindfulness allows us to pause, observe, and respond with wisdom. When we are mindful, we are not controlled by anger, fear, or frustration. We can step back, see things clearly, and choose our response. Second, mindfulness reduces suffering. When we stop fighting reality and simply observe what is happening, even difficult emotions become easier to handle. Pain is not the problem. Our resistance to pain is what creates suffering. When we accept what is, instead of struggling against it, peace arises naturally. Third, mindfulness deepens our appreciation for life. The simple act of being fully present turns ordinary moments into something extraordinary. A single breath, fully experienced, feels like a miracle. A sip of tea, when truly tasted, becomes an act of pure presence. A conversation, when listened to with complete attention, becomes meaningful and rich. Many people think mindfulness is only something practiced in meditation, but true mindfulness is a way of living. It can be practiced at any moment, in any activity. Eating mindfully means slowing down, noticing the flavors, textures, and aromas of each bite. Walking mindfully means feeling the ground beneath your feet, sensing the movement of your body. Listening mindfully means giving your full attention, not just to words, but to the emotions behind them. Even breathing mindfully, simply being aware of the breath as it enters and leaves the body, can bring us back to the present moment. Mindfulness is not about changing your life. It is about fully experiencing the life you already have. It is about waking up from the trance of distraction and truly seeing what is in front of you. And this is where the wisdom of letting it be reveals its deepest meaning. The lyrics do not tell us to overanalyze, to fix everything immediately, or to stress about what we cannot control. They simply say, let it be. To let things be, we must first be present. We must see reality as it is, without distortion, without resistance. Mindfulness teaches us that the past is gone. We cannot change it. The future is uncertain. We cannot control it. But the present is all we have, and it is enough. By learning to be here now, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We stop getting caught in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. We find peace, not in controlling life, but in experiencing it fully. But to deepen this practice, there is something even more powerful we must explore: the art of renunciation. The ability to let go of what no longer serves us. The willingness to release what burdens us, not out of rejection, but out of wisdom. The understanding that true freedom is not found in holding on, but in letting go. Letting go is one of the hardest things for the human mind to accept. We are wired to cling, to hold on, to attach ourselves to what is familiar. Whether it is material possessions, relationships, beliefs, or even our own identities, we grasp at things, hoping to keep them from slipping away. But the truth is, everything in life is temporary. The more we cling, the more we suffer. Renunciation, in the Buddhist sense, is not about deprivation. It is not about rejecting life, isolating ourselves, or living without joy. It is about freedom. It is about recognizing what no longer serves us and releasing it, not out of resentment, but out of wisdom. It is about understanding that we do not lose anything by letting go. We gain everything. Why is letting go so difficult? Because we equate attachment with security. We believe that if we hold on tightly enough, we can prevent change, avoid loss, and control the outcomes of our lives. But in reality, clinging does not bring stability. it only brings fear. When we resist change, we create suffering. Think about the things you have struggled to let go of. A relationship that was no longer healthy, but you held on to it because you feared loneliness. A past mistake that haunted you, even though nothing could be done to change it. An idea of who you thought you should be, even when it no longer aligned with who you were becoming. Every attachment we carry is like a weight on our shoulders. It drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and prevents us from experiencing true peace. Letting go is not about losing something. It is about making space for something new. Renunciation can take many forms in daily life. Letting go of material excess, for example, allows us to live with greater simplicity. Do we truly need everything we accumulate? The more we simplify, the more space we create for clarity, for presence, for what truly matters. Letting go of unhealthy attachments, relationships built on control, dependency, or past wounds, allows us to love more freely. To release someone is not to stop caring. It is to care enough to allow them to be who they are, rather than trying to mold them into who we want them to be. Letting go of rigid expectations frees us from unnecessary frustration. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we plan. But when we release our need for control, we open ourselves to greater possibilities. We begin to trust the natural flow of life. Letting go of resentment is perhaps the most liberating act of all. Carrying resentment is like holding on to a burning coal, expecting the other person to feel the pain. In reality, we are the ones who suffer. Forgiveness is not about excusing harm. It is about freeing ourselves from the burden of anger. It is about choosing peace over past pain. And in this process of letting go, something unexpected happens. We begin to feel lighter. The things that once weighed us down no longer hold power over us. We move through life with greater ease, greater clarity, and greater openness. The joy of simplicity is something that many great spiritual teachers have spoken about. The less we are burdened by unnecessary desires and attachments, the freer we become. Think about the moments in life when you have felt the most at peace. Were they times of accumulation and striving? Or were they times of stillness, presence, and deep connection? Perhaps it was a quiet morning, sipping tea as the sun rose. Perhaps it was a deep conversation with a friend, where time seemed to disappear. Perhaps it was simply sitting in silence, feeling the warmth of the breeze against your skin. These moments remind us that true fulfillment does not come from grasping, but from letting go. The more we release, the more we gain. And this is where the wisdom of letting it be offers its deepest lesson. When we stop clinging, we stop suffering. When we let things be, we allow life to unfold naturally. We stop trying to force, to control, to manipulate. We simply trust. Song doesn't tell us to hold on, to fight, to resist. It doesn't say, make it be. It simply says, let it be. This is the essence of renunciation. The understanding that we do not need to grasp at life. We do not need to force everything into place. We can trust. We can release. We can let go. True renunciation is not about turning away from the world. It is about engaging with it fully, but without attachment. It is about living with an open heart and an unburdened mind. But to truly embody this wisdom, we must take it beyond philosophy. We must integrate it into our daily lives. We must learn how to move through the world with a spirit of surrender, how to practice letting go, not just in moments of reflection, but in every choice we make. And that begins with awareness, with recognizing the moments in which we are holding on too tightly, with asking ourselves, is this serving me? Or is it weighing me down? With having the courage to loosen our grip, to open our hands, to trust that we do not need to hold on in order to be whole. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. It is something we do again and again, moment by moment, breath by breath. But the more we practice, the more natural it becomes. The more we release, the lighter we feel. And the more we trust, the more we discover that life has always been taking care of us, even when we thought we had to control everything ourselves. And so, as we continue this journey, we arrive at the next great lesson: how to integrate all of these teachings into daily life. How to live not just with the idea of letting go, but with the practice of it. How to make peace not a distant goal, but a way of being. Letting go is not a singular event. It is a daily practice, woven into the fabric of our lives, manifesting in the smallest moments. The way we respond to frustration, the way we handle disappointment, the way we release expectations that no longer serve us. It is not about erasing desires, nor is it about withdrawing from the world. Instead, it is about engaging with life in a way that does not depend on grasping. So how do we integrate this wisdom into daily life? How do we move from understanding the concept of letting go to actually living it? It begins with awareness, with noticing the moments in which we are resisting life, the moments when we are holding on too tightly. Every day presents countless opportunities to practice. When expectations go unmet, we can choose to release our attachment to how things should be and accept them as they are. When emotions arise, anger, sadness, anxiety, we can observe them rather than suppress them. We can allow them to move through us rather than letting them control us. When plans change, instead of resisting, we can embrace the flow of life, trusting that what is meant for us will find us in its own time. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean we stop striving, stop dreaming, stop working toward our goals. It simply means we do so without attachment to specific outcomes. We put in the effort, but we release the need to control the results. We trust the process. We trust that what is meant for us will come, and what is not meant for us will fall away. This shift in perspective allows us to live with greater ease. It turns life from a constant struggle into a dance. Instead of forcing things, we allow them to unfold. Instead of resisting, we embrace. Instead of fighting against life, we move with it. And this is where patience plays a crucial role. The art of letting go is inseparable from the practice of patience. We must be willing to allow things to happen in their own time. We must be willing to wait, not out of frustration, but out of trust. Patience is not passive. It is an active surrender to the rhythm of life. It is understanding that not everything can be rushed. The tree does not demand to grow faster. The river does not force its flow. Nature moves at its own pace, and so must we. But patience is difficult, because we live in a world that thrives on urgency. We are taught that faster is better, that waiting is a waste of time, that if something is not happening immediately, we must be doing something wrong. But true wisdom knows otherwise. Some things need time to unfold. Some answers can only come with stillness. Some transformations can only happen when we stop pushing and allow life to move through us. Think about the last time you felt impatient. What was your mind telling you? That things should be happening faster? That you were falling behind? that you were not where you were supposed to be. But what if none of that was true? What if you were exactly where you needed to be? What if life was unfolding in perfect timing, even if you could not yet see it? Impatience is a form of resistance, a refusal to accept the moment as it is. But when we release that resistance, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We learn to trust that everything happens when it is meant to, and in the meantime, we learn to be present, to find peace in the waiting. And this brings us to one of the most important lessons of all, the power of mindfulness. Because without mindfulness, we cannot let go. Without mindfulness, we remain lost in thought, caught in patterns of attachment and resistance, unaware of how deeply these habits shape our experience. Mindfulness is what allows us to notice the grip of attachment before it turns into suffering. It is what helps us recognize when we are resisting life, when we are clinging, when we are trying to force things instead of allowing them to be. It is what brings us back, again and again, to the present moment. And the present moment is where peace resides. Not in the past, which we cannot change. Not in the future, which we cannot control. But right here, right now. Every moment is an opportunity to practice. When we eat, we can be mindful of the taste, the texture, the act of nourishing our bodies. When we walk, we can feel the ground beneath our feet, the rhythm of our breath. When we speak, we can truly listen, fully engage, be present with those around us. Mindfulness is not about doing something extra. It is about doing what we already do, but with presence, with awareness, with intention. And when we live this way, we begin to see that letting go is not a sacrifice. It is a gift. It is not a loss. It is liberation. This is where the wisdom of letting it be reveals its deepest truth. The song does not say, fight it. It does not say, make it happen. It simply says, let it be. It is a reminder that peace is available to us in every moment if we allow it. But allowing peace means surrendering our need for control. It means trusting that we do not have to hold on to everything so tightly. It means understanding that life is always taking care of us, even when we do not see it. And so, as we continue to explore this path, we must ask ourselves, how can we bring this practice into our daily lives? How can we integrate this wisdom not just as a concept, but as a way of being? How can we move from intellectual understanding to embodied experience? The answers lie not in thinking, but in practice. Not in knowing, but in being. Not in grasping, but in releasing. Because true peace is not found in control. It is found in trust. And as we move forward, we will explore how this trust transforms not only our inner world, but also our relationships, our actions, and the way we engage with life itself. Trust is the foundation of letting go. It is the silent force that allows us to release our grip, to step into the unknown without fear, to embrace the unfolding of life without resistance. But trust is not easy. We have spent our lives conditioned to believe that control is the only path to security, that if we let go, we will fall, that if we stop grasping, we will lose everything. And yet, paradoxically, it is in surrender that we find true stability. It is in releasing our attachment to control that we discover a deeper sense of peace than we ever imagined possible. To trust life is to trust that we do not need to hold on to everything so tightly. It is to believe that we are not alone, that the same forces that move the tides, that guide the stars, that make the trees grow and the seasons change, are also guiding us. It is to recognize that the universe has always been in motion, long before we tried to control it, and it will continue to move whether we resist it or not. But how do we cultivate this trust? How do we shift from a mindset of control to a mindset of surrender? The answer begins with awareness, with noticing how much of our suffering is self-created, with recognizing the ways in which we resist life, the ways in which we try to force things to happen, the ways in which we cling to what is already slipping away. Every moment of resistance is an opportunity to practice. When something does not go as planned, instead of reacting with frustration, we can pause and ask, what if this is happening for a reason? What if this is not a mistake, but an invitation? What if the detour is actually the path? When we trust life, we stop seeing obstacles as punishments and start seeing them as lessons. We stop believing that we must fight against the current and start learning how to flow with it. We begin to understand that sometimes what we want is not what we need. And sometimes the things that do not work out are making space for something even greater. But trust is not just about accepting what happens to us. It is also about how we engage with the world. It is about how we love, how we give, how we act. Because if we are truly practicing letting go, it must extend beyond our own minds. It must shape the way we connect with others. This is where non-attachment in relationships becomes essential, because so much of our suffering comes not from love itself, but from the way we try to hold on to it. We mistake attachment for love. We believe that to love someone is to possess them, to control them, to make them stay. But real love does not cling. Real love does not demand. Real love does not say, "You belong to me." It says, "I am grateful for you, no matter how long you are here." Attachment is rooted in fear, fear of losing, fear of change, fear of uncertainty. But love that is based in fear is not love, it is possession. And possession always leads to suffering, because nothing in life is permanent. People change. Relationships evolve. Some last a lifetime, and some are meant to be temporary. If we try to make something last forever, we miss the beauty of what it is in the present. We become so focused on keeping it, on securing it, on making sure it does not change, that we forget to actually experience it. But when we let go of attachment, we allow love to be what it is, a gift, not a guarantee. This does not mean we stop caring. It does not mean we become indifferent. It means we learn to love fully, without fear. We learn to cherish every moment, knowing that nothing is owed to us. We learn to appreciate people as they are, without trying to mold them into who we want them to be. And when we love this way, we experience a freedom that is beyond words. Because suddenly, love is no longer something we must control. It is something we simply experience. It is something that flows naturally, without force, without fear, without demand. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hands. If you grip it too tightly, you will crush it. But if you open your hands, if you let it rest freely, it may choose to stay. Love works the same way. The tighter we hold on, the more we suffocate it. The more we let go, the more it can breathe. The more it can flourish, the more it can be real. But letting go in relationships is not just about love. It is also about forgiveness. Because one of the heaviest burdens we carry is resentment. The unwillingness to forgive keeps us chained to the past. It keeps us reliving the same pain over and over again, long after the moment has passed. Forgiveness does not mean we condone harm. It does not mean we forget. It means we choose to release ourselves from the suffering of holding on to anger. It means we decide that our peace is more important than our pride. It means we understand that carrying resentment only poisons us, not the person who hurt us. And here, once again, the wisdom of letting it be speaks to us. It does not say, hold on to it. It does not say, keep reliving the pain. It simply says, let it be. To forgive is to free ourselves. It is to choose peace over bitterness, healing over suffering, trust over fear. It is to understand that the past cannot be changed, but the future is still unwritten. And we get to choose how we carry it forward. This is where the practice of letting go becomes not just personal, but universal. Because the way we let go affects not just ourselves, but the world around us. When we stop clinging, we move through life with greater ease. We become more compassionate, more open, more kind. We stop needing to prove ourselves, to control others, to demand that life unfold a certain way. We simply experience it. And when we live this way, we find that life is far more beautiful than we ever imagined. Because suddenly, we are not burdened by fear. We are not weighed down by expectations. We are not lost in the past or obsessed with the future. We are here, now fully present, fully alive. And so, we must ask ourselves, what are we still holding on to? What is keeping us from fully experiencing life as it is? What would happen if we truly let go? The answers do not come from thinking. They come from being. They come from surrender. They come from trust. And as we continue this journey, we will explore what it truly means to live in this state of freedom,